Welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving deep into the fascinating world of British aristocracy. From knights to kings, we'll explore every single title in the British nobility system and what they actually mean. If you've ever wondered about the difference between a duke and an earl, or why someone is called Sir while another is Your Grace, this video is for you. Let's start from the bottom and work our way up to the throne itself. 1K. We begin with knights, a title granted by the monarch for military service or exceptional contributions to society. Unlike all other ranks we'll discuss, knighthood isn't hereditary. It dies with the person who receives it. In medieval times, knights were heavily armored warriors who swore loyalty to lords and fought in epic battles across Europe. Over the centuries, the title evolved from combat roles to recognition of achievement. Today, it's purely honorary, given for excellence in fields like music, science, charity work, or public service. A knighted man becomes Sir, while a woman becomes Dame, but they don't hold true noble status like the ranks above them. 2. Baron. The lowest rank in the British peerage system is Baron. But don't let that fool you into thinking it's insignificant. In medieval England, barons were among the most powerful landowners, ruling over vast territories granted by the king in exchange for military support and loyalty. While they didn't wield as much influence as dukes or earls, they were still high-ranking members of society with considerable wealth and power. Over time, the title became more political, and barons played crucial roles in early English government, including holding seats in the House of Lords. Today, most barons hold the title purely for prestige, but historically, being a baron meant owning extensive lands, leading men into battle, and having direct access to the monarchy. 3. Viscount. Above barons, we find viscounts, a title with fascinating origins. The word comes from the Latin viscums, literally meaning deputy count. Viscounts were originally created as assistants to earls, helping to govern large regions or acting as local representatives of the king in distant territories. Unlike barons, who often ruled smaller, more localized areas, viscounts carried more political responsibilities and administrative duties. Over the centuries, the role evolved from hands-on administration to ceremonial status, but the title still holds significantly more prestige than a barony. Today, the rank of viscount is quite rare, and there are only a handful of viscouncies remaining in Britain, making it one of the more exclusive noble titles. 4. Earl. An earl represents one of the oldest and most prestigious noble titles in Britain, with roots stretching back over 1,000 years. While most European countries adopted the title count, the English maintained the Germanic word earl, which was used by Anglo-Saxon rulers long before the Norman conquest transformed English society. Historically, earls governed entire counties, commanded large armies, and played direct roles in shaping English politics and law. Some of history's most famous figures, including William the Conqueror's most trusted allies, were granted earldoms for their unwavering loyalty and distinguished military service. Today, an earl outranks a viscount, but sits below a marquis in the hierarchy, and the female equivalent is countess, a title that carries equal prestige and recognition. 5. Marquis. A marquis ranks just below a duke, and historically held one of the most dangerous yet powerful positions in the kingdom. They were traditionally responsible for guarding the borders of the realm, known as marches, volatile frontier regions constantly under threat. This was an incredibly dangerous and strategically crucial role because borderlands were always vulnerable to attacks from Scotland, Wales, or foreign invaders seeking to expand their territories. Because of these immense responsibilities, a marquis held more authority than an earl, as they needed to maintain strong military forces and fortifications to defend their lands effectively. Over time, as wars between England and its neighbors decreased and borders became more stable, the role of a marquis transformed from active military duty to prestigious status symbol, with marchioness being the female equivalent. 6. Duke. At the pinnacle of the noble hierarchy, sitting just below royalty itself, we find the Duke, the most prestigious non-royal title in Britain. The title originally derives from the Latin dux, meaning leader or commander, and was first introduced to Britain by William the Conqueror for his most trusted and capable allies. Unlike other nobles who governed smaller territories, Dukes controlled entire regions, sometimes wielding vast amounts of land, wealth, and political influence that rivaled small kingdoms. The first English duke was created in the 14th century, and for many centuries, only a select handful of people held this extraordinary title. Today, dukes remain the highest-ranking nobles outside the royal family, with titles like Duke of Edinburgh, Duke of Cornwall, and Duke of Cambridge carrying immense prestige and recognition worldwide. A duke's wife is called a duchess. 7. Prince. Now we step into the realm of royalty itself, beginning with princes and princesses, titles that represent the very pinnacle of British society. Unlike nobles, who inherit their titles through the peerage system, princes are born directly into the royal family bloodline. The most prestigious and well-known title is Prince of Wales, traditionally granted to the heir apparent to the throne. However, British princes often hold multiple titles simultaneously, like Prince William, who is also the Duke of Cambridge. Historically, not all sons of the king were automatically called prince, as the title was carefully reserved for the most important and influential members of the royal family. Today, only direct descendants of the reigning monarch can hold this extraordinary rank, making it one of the most exclusive titles in existence. 8. King. At the absolute pinnacle of British society sits the king or queen, the ruling monarch of the entire nation and Commonwealth realms. Throughout history, kings and queens once wielded absolute power, controlling every aspect of government, military decisions, and economic policy with divine authority. However, over many centuries, Britain gradually evolved into a constitutional monarchy, where the king or queen serves as the ceremonial head of state, but exercises little direct political power in day-to-day governance. Today, the monarchy is largely ceremonial and symbolic, but the title of king or queen remains the most recognized and prestigious rank in the country and beyond. The reigning monarch represents Britain on the world stage, preserves centuries of historical traditions, and serves as an enduring symbol of national unity and continuity. And there you have it, every single title in British nobility and royalty explained, from the honorary knights who serve society, all the way up to the king who represents the nation itself. Each title carries its own unique history, responsibilities, and prestige that has evolved over centuries. If you found this fascinating journey through British aristocracy helpful, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more historical content like this. What titles surprised you the most? Let me know in the comments below.